Let's talk about Nuno Espirito Santo and that move to Crystal Palace, which I find...
Why?
Yeah.
Not why we're going to talk about it, but
why
has he gone to Crystal Palace?
If Everton was also
if he's
play,
chatting to Everton, if he's chatting to Tottenham potentially,
I mean, we were led to believe he was chatting to Everton as well. By the way,
what have Crystal Palace suddenly done to say, right, this is a better job than those? I mean, I'd say it's a little bit of a kick in the teeth for Everton, really. When I look at Everton's squad, we talked about this when Carlo Ancelotti left. It's still got the nucleus. There's some good players in that squad.
There is some good players.
There's some, you've got obviously Alan that came in, has done very, very well.
Doucouré's still good.
England's number one. Doucouré's in there as well. And Richarlison is still a decent player. Luca Dean.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin up front.
Yeah. So you've got enough players. They've got money.
A lot of money.
There's a project. The academy is fantastic. What they've done over the last few years. They're off to a new ground fairly soon. The club is being run very, very well. You've got a fantastic director of football.
Doesn't make sense here, does it?
And he's going to Palace where there's 175 players out of contract. You're going to be scratching together for a team at the start of the season.
Yeah.
You're going to need £500 million to do that. And it looks like you're heading directly into a relegation battle.
100%. Look, Zaha is their key man and he wants out. He's been wanting out for a couple of years.
Eze's out till at least the new year. And that could easily go on longer. No, but realistically, I think they've got 10 players now out of contract. They've only re-signed Benteke.
They're going to need... Look, unless they
sell
Zaha,
if I'm honest.
What could they get for Zaha? Because they're going to need to make money, aren't they?
I think Zaha's in a really difficult position. Palace are going to want 75 million for him. Realistically, I think he's probably worth 40
it's harsh.
In the current climate. No, in the current climate. But they're not going to let him go for that. He's around about a 40, 50 million pound player.
50. I've got to go 50.
But Palace are not going to sell him for 50 million. Absolutely no chance. So he's stuck.
So if Zaha goes, then you're saying he's stuck, and I'm with you, by the way. It's almost a Harry Kane conversation.
He's almost priced himself out of the market. Because also the wages he's going to want are going to be huge.
Why would anyone want to go Palace and manage that if Zaha goes? That's a relegation battle for me. That's a club in a relegation battle if Zaha leaves that club.
Even with Zaha there,
they're in a relegation battle.
It's a total transformation that's needed in terms of playing staff, and bringing all those players in. Whereas maybe Everton weren't that interested in him. Maybe there was something else going on behind the scenes. But if they were, you're thinking that's a project that's on its way. It's halfway there. Palace, you've got to start from scratch completely. You're going to need 10 players to come in. That's really difficult.
Look, he's already done that though, hasn't he? At Wolves.
That's what I mean.
He came in at Wolves.
It's not being disrespectful. It's better than that job, I would say.
He is, isn't he?
And that's not being disrespectful with Crystal Palace. It's the situation that Crystal Palace are in, having to buy and recruit while there's a Euros going on. 10 players is mighty difficult. Very, very difficult to be able to do that.
All right, let's talk about the team that, I don't know, did he reject? I'm not quite sure. Everton. Carlo Ancelotti's gone. It was a project for him. I thought that's what it was with Everton. Like a top manager coming in.
Did, yeah.
Everyone did, right? Spent loads of money on good players. What's going on with Everton right now in terms of who they can attract? Because like you say, there's 6 or 7 players that I think are really good players, right? Players that are there for the next 2 or 3 years. They are moving to a new stadium, new training facilities as well. They did finish 10th, however, though.
But you've got Godfrey, you've got Michael Keane in there as well, Yerry Mina. I mean, there's enough,
solid, isn't it? Solid.
There's enough good players. And if they'd have won the last 2 games of the season, I think they'd have finished 7th, something like that. The last game,
Conference League.
The last game they they threw away. So they weren't a million miles away from finishing higher up the table as that poor defeat on the last game of the season. I think they've got the ability to attract a very good manager. Because
how good? Are we talking Conte good here?
Well, they got in Ancelotti.
Yeah, but that's when he was struggling at Napoli. I mean, can they attract a manager this one Serie A?
They've got cash.
Cash rules the world.
Well, now, if reports are true about Conte didn't want the Tottenham job because he wasn't going to be given enough money, well, I think Everton have shown that Farhad Moshiri has got enough cash, to be able to do that. There's already a very, very good director of football in there, in Marcel Brandt, that's bringing in, obviously, in players. You'd only have to add 2 or 3, I think, to that squad. Quality players.
I think we say that all the time with Everton. Dan, I really do. I think every single season we say 2 or 3.
But that's like most squads to get better. You look at a really good centre half. Would suddenly be a game changer for them. That would change things massively. Somebody else go alongside Dominic Calvert-Lewin, to assist with the goals as well, or maybe that creative midfield player. And then you're suddenly going, hang on, now I've got a team. I've got Decore and Allen in the centre midfield. Very, very good players. Yeah. Sometimes I think for them it may be strength in depth. That when they've had two or 3 injuries, 4 injuries, a bit of COVID. You saw when Dominic Calvert-Lewin was out. And, they maybe struggled.
And it wasn't there.
But I think, then moving into a new stadium and all these sorts of things, it's an attractive club to go to at the moment, because this is not like you're taking over a Manchester United after Sir Alex Ferguson, where the only way is down. Finishing 10th, promising in the direction that they're heading. Surely the only way is up, and surely the only way you can go with Everton is to improve them right now. Yeah, it sounds like. I mean, look, I think Everton are a fantastic club, but I just feel like the spending the spending on the wrong players in the last sort of 4 or 5 seasons has cost them. They spent nearly 500 million quid. 500 million quid. Yeah, I think they've addressed that in the last couple of seasons, haven't they? I think they've got a hold of that. Even when Sam Allardyce was there, and obviously. Ancelotti was there. I think they've now started to bring in better quality players. And look at the last 3 signings. Decore, Allen, and James Rodriguez. Yeah. All good signings. Ben Godfrey, chuck it in exactly. There as well. Yeah, who was unlucky to miss out. Now an England squad. International. So another good player. You've got Godfrey in there, Luca Dean in there. So Jordan Pickford, England's number 1. There's enough there to build on. Right, look, the managerial merry-go-round continues. Other manager-based news a bit for you here now. Former Benfica manager Bruno Lage has been spotted at Molineux today, meeting with Wolves GM Matt Wild. Good club, Molineux. Wolves are going to be interested next season, just because there is talks about their goalkeeper Rui Patricio possibly leaving. It's the Portuguese link, isn't it? Yeah. It's how much say do the agents have at that football club? Who is actually running the football club? Gorgeous George, isn't he? How much control do you have of what players you bring in? I think that's the difficult one. But it's a big club. It's an attractive club, and somebody, even if it's not perfect for them because of that reason, somebody decent will take that job. Yeah, someone decent certainly will. talkSPORT senior football writer Alex Crook has also mentioned the last few moments that former Huddersfield boss David Wagner is closing on the West Brom job, which is interesting. Wouldn't surprise me. Yeah. I know people close to him last season that said he was looking to come back to England. Yeah. Enjoyed his time in England. Was maybe looking to come back to the Premier League. Obviously, that's not going to happen. But again, I think did well. It was tough times at Huddersfield. That was a shoestring budget. That's an understatement. It did fantastic job really to keep them up as well. Yeah. To keep them in the Premier League for a season was phenomenal. Yeah, was incredible. So no, I think that I can see that has been a very, very good appointment. Yeah, should if that happens.
Kick-off with Hugh Wozencroft, Tuesday to Thursday night, 7 till 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.